people of Birmingham, please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Josh Pugh.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, well, okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Hello. Wow. Yeah, thanks so much for coming. What a welcome. Thank you so much. And thanks for your support online and everything. But this is what it's all about. Live comedy, so much better than TV comedy. Do you agree? Absolutely. Like, I was watching that live at the Apollo the other day. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't pay my TV licence. Thanks for coming out, appreciate it. So this is it, man. This is my show. It's kind of my show I've been writing over the last couple of years. And I'll be honest, it's been quite difficult to write a comedy show about the last 2 years. Think of everything that's happened in that time. We had the bushfires over in Australia, if you can remember that far back. Then we had coronavirus, 100,000 dead in the UK alone, not to mention the death toll globally. Now we've got a cost of living crisis, a corrupt government, and a war in Ukraine. And I've had to take all of that and somehow make it about me. And, I think I've managed it. So yeah, sound. I've been all right, to be honest. I've had a good time. I've been completely fine. Very lucky. I became a dad 13 months ago. Thank you very much. He's actually 9 years old, but I've only just started giving a shit. I'll get stuck in now, I think. Looks all right. No, he's a baby. I'm loving it. Loving being a dad. I can't wait for everything that's to come with fatherhood. Specifically, what I cannot wait for, I cannot wait to be a British dad on a package holiday. That is a pinnacle, I think, to be a British dad on an abroad package holiday. That is my favourite thing to witness, British dads abroad, because it's the 1 week of the year when they're supposed to relax and enjoy themselves. And they cannot fucking do it, can they? They're just on guard the whole time, just sceptical about everything for some reason, right? My dad, from the second he leaves the front door in England, he thinks everybody's trying to rip him off, everyone's trying to get one over on him, and he will not be defeated, right? This sums him up, my dad. First thing he does when he gets abroad, first thing he does when he arrives in paradise, get a safe. Get a safe sorted. Get everything in that safe. Keys in the safe, wallet in the safe, passport in the safe. These people have got nothing. Get it in the safe. He's reprogramming that safe every night at midnight. Like it's fucking Ocean's 11. Cannot relax, thinks everything's going to kill him abroad. Don't drink that tap water. That'll make you bad. That dog's got rabies. Get it in the safe. Get everything in the safe. You can dog in this. He's terrified, absolutely petrified of the minibar. He is terrified of that thing. He's convinced if he so much as opens that little fridge, all of his bank accounts are going to drain to zero. Convinced of it. Turns his data roaming off 6 weeks before flying out, not taking any chances. We're mad abroad, British people. We're mental. You know there's British people, right, who go on cruises and they don't even get off the ship. I actually respect those people. I think that's where I want to get to my life eventually, that level of arrogance. Just to turn up in a new country you've never been to before, look out the window and just be like, nah. Where are we? Greece? Fuck it, I'm going to watch Kung Fu Panda in the cinema room. See you in a bit. That's where I want to get to. We're mad abroad, British people. I read a story, right, this is true, about a British tourist in New Zealand who'd fought off a shark attack by punching the shark in the face and telling it to fuck off. That's great, isn't it? That's the most British thing I've ever heard, I think. I definitely feel, though, like it was the punch that did it. Do you know what I mean? I can't imagine that shark was like, listen, mate, violence is one thing, but that language, I will not tolerate that, I'm out of here. And that's what people say you should do, innit? If you get attacked by a shark, they say you should punch it in the face. And when people tell you that, they tell it to you like they're giving you some real insider SAS information there, don't they? Ever get attacked by a shark, mate, yeah? What you want to do, yeah? You want to punch the shark in the face. Yes, obviously. Obviously try and punch the shark in the face if a shark is attacking you. What's our other options in a fight against a shark? Get it in a headlock? Bite it back? My advice, get your fingers up the shark's arse. I'm telling you now, it does not want it. Get your fingers up its... It's never come across that in the ocean before. Get your fingers... This goes for any confrontation, actually. With any animal on this planet, humans included, get your fingers up their arse. That's why I'm scared of snakes. I don't think I can find a snake's arsehole under pressure. If you guys think you can, you do it your way. I'm no expert. I love animals, by the way. I know that's a weird segue, but I love animals, but I hate zoos. I think zoos are really cruel. Do you agree with that? Zoos are bloody cruel, aren't they? So much walking. I did 12,000 steps around a zoo once. How's that legal? I don't know why. They can't just load the animals onto a big conveyor belt, have them going around the zoo like a big yo sushi, and we can just sit and enjoy it. Thanks for coming. I was lucky enough to go away last year. I went on a stag do to Magaluf. Yeah, 33, should not have been there. You're like, Josh, you've got a young baby. Why is your wife letting you go to Magaluf on a stag do? Listen, I told her straight. I sat her down and I was like, can I please go? But yeah, enjoy yourself. We flew there, best way of doing it. I don't know if you guys travel, but yeah, get a plane is what I'd say. I love flying. My favourite bit of any flight, right, I love it. You know when the pilot comes over the tannoy and they tell you the route that the plane is going to take? That's my favourite bit. They'll come on, they'll be like, we're going to take off over the southbound runway, head over France and East. Like, who is that for? Who needed that information? As if there's anybody sat at the back of the plane like, wouldn't go that way, mate. Northern Spain this time of day, it's absolutely chocker, yeah, man. Got to be careful, though, who you get chatting to when you're on holiday. I came unstuck, right? I came back from one of the nights out early on the stag do. Get back in the lift up to my room, right? In the lift, there's me and this other guy. Now, this other guy, he's about my height, my build, maybe a bit taller than me, a bit broader. Nothing like my build, actually. Like proper ripped, do you know what I mean? And he had a plaster over the bridge of his nose and he was holding a really big trophy. And I get chatting to him. It turns out his name's Ilya. He's from Serbia. And it turns out that up the road from where we're staying is a big international kickboxing tournament. And Ilya from Serbia had won the whole competition. He'd knocked out all of his opponents. He's got the gold. Wicked guy. Really get on with him. We're chatting. We're having a good time. He adds me on Instagram. I add him back and we're chatting backwards and forwards. After about 3 weeks, just out of interest, I message him. I go, hey, Ilya, just wondering, mate, how does it all work? Are you a full-time kickboxer? What is it you do for a living? And Ilya goes, oh, I'm a student. I'm 15. I've been chatting to this guy for 3 weeks at this point. So I have to say to my wife then, I'm like, babe, just to put you in the picture, I've been chatting to a 15-year-old Serbian boy on the internet for almost a month now. And she's like, well, you've got to stop doing that because it's weird and people will think you're a paedophile. I'm like, well, firstly, he messaged me first. I don't know if that counts for anything. Secondly, what kind of paedophile is targeting European champion kickboxers? He's got to be as safe as you're going to get from a paedophile, that lad. He's hard as nails. I'd make the case, actually, that if me and him are left alone in a room together, I am vulnerable between the two of us. But he's like, it's not right, you've got to start messaging him. I'm like, so no, I agree. So I message him one last time. I go, hey, Ilya, really sorry, mate. Can't chat to you on here anymore. Not until you turn 16. And he comes back to me, so I go, Josh, OK, but why 16? Oh, gee, he's not really anticipating any follow-up questions, to be honest. Well, I suppose, Ilya, 16 is the age in the UK that we consider somebody to be an adult. It's all linked to the age of consent, I imagine. And then he goes, Josh, what does the age of consent mean? Oh, for fuck. Well, supposedly the age of consent is the age in the UK that we consider somebody to be both emotionally and physically mature enough that they can make the informed decision that they want to have sex with another person. And then he blocked me, but so, good to get away, isn't it, when you can? Do you know what I mean? Good to just get away. How are you guys feeling about COVID, by the way? Feeling okay about COVID? Yeah, it's kind of rumbling on in it, but not really. COVID at the minute. You know, it reminds me at the minute, COVID. Remember years ago? Remember when Big Brother moved on to Channel 5? Remember that? Like, it is still going on, but I'm probably not going to bother with it anymore. That's how I feel about it. Channel 5 is a fucking mad channel, by the way, isn't it? What are they doing on Channel 5? They don't give a fuck over there. They know no one's watching. They just do whatever they want on Channel 5. Every other channel, right, does their news 12 o'clock, 6 p.m, 10 p.m. Channel 5, when are you going to do your news? 2/3 of the way through Con Air? Yeah, okay, Channel 5, whatever, yeah, whatever you think. I actually wanted to keep up with all the COVID data. I wanted to keep across it all, but the problem is, right, I'm in a WhatsApp group with men. And men do not behave properly in WhatsApp groups. I don't think men behave properly on the phone, full stop. How many men in the room have had to answer their phone to their best mate like this? You're on loudspeaker, the kids are in the car. Can I get that disclaimer out quick enough? During lockdown 1, right, I get this graph sent to me in the WhatsApp group. I'm like, perfect. I can click on that graph. It will tell me everything I need to know about COVID, how to keep my family safe. Perfect. Very considerate, actually, of that young man to pop that in there. That's very good of him. I click on it. This guy knows what's coming. I click on it. I hear this noise. For God's sake. Has anybody been got with that thing? Why are we doing that to each other? In a time of crisis, how has that become our go-to response as a nation? I honestly feel like this is the first global disaster that's had pranks in it. Do you know what I mean? I can't imagine a soldier back in World War I on the front line, sending a telegram back to his childhood sweetheart back in England. She's on the front porch every day for 6 weeks, waiting for the telegram to arrive. Eventually the postman cycles up the leafy English lane, hops off his bike, hands over the telegram. She opens it and it's that massive black guy with his cock out. Oh, I thought that was my war update. You got me there, did not see that one coming. You know the guy I mean, don't you? Yeah, he's a fucking big boy, man. Good luck to him, yeah. I don't want to bring the mood down. He's dead, that guy. Yeah, one bloke found that alone. He died, genuinely, he died. Open casket, not the way I would have gone, but no, respect to the family. I'm not going to get into the pandemic too much. I'm certainly not going to get political, but what I will say is, I feel like the pandemic was mishandled by certain individuals. That's all I'm saying, certain individuals. I love it when people use that phrase, certain individuals. Nothing good ever follows certain individuals, does it? Nothing positive ever comes after that. It's never, oh, thanks to certain individuals, we've raised £10,000 for cancer research. It's never that, is it, certain individuals? It's always, oh, due to the actions of certain individuals, this laser quest will no longer be serving alcohol. Never anything positive. I'm not a political comedian. You probably noticed from that shark fingering stuff earlier. Yeah. This guy's ready for Radio 4. I'm not a political person, to tell you the truth. My friend said to me recently, he said, Josh, what would you do if you were Prime Minister for a day? I was like, Prime Minister for a day? Probably not a lot. Not much you can do in a day, is there? Probably get there, get my login sorted for the computer, have lunch. Last day, probably get an early finish, if I can. Look, I'm no good with those hypothetical situations. I've got quite a literal imagination. Same reason me and my wife can't do role play in the bedroom. So I get way too into it. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. What's this guy's backstory? What makes him tick? Why did you want to get into the fire service in the first place? She hates it. She's like, Josh, relax, come to bed. I'm like, come to bed? There's an electric blanket on that thing. That is an accident waiting to happen. A satin nightgown. Really? You might as well douse yourself in petrol. Think on. Just go around checking the detectors for the rest of the evening. It kills the vibe, if I'm honest. I'd actually say, believe it or not, that my wife is less political than me. She read an article to me out loud recently, which she believed was about a man called Troy Backbenchers. Unbelievable. We get 2 votes in our household, both wasted. Unbelievable. But since we had our little boy, since we had him, we started keeping across world affairs, keeping kind of tabs on politics and what's happening in the world, because we want to know what kind of world we've brought our little boy into. And I've looked into some stuff, and listen, I've got to tell you, Putin, not my cup of tea. I do not like that guy's vibe at all. I'm sorry to use this language. I'm going to use the word toxic. No, we've got to call it out, lads, when we see it, actually. And we've got to stop him. We've got to stop Putin. I really believe this. I saw a graphic, right? It showed a map of the UK. Showed that if Putin dropped a bomb on London, that the blast would reach up as far as the Midlands, where we live. And I saw that, and I was like, fuck. We've got to do something. Because I am not taking in Cockney refugees. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. I'm not. I've got a spare room. If a Ukrainian family need it, they can have it. I'm not having some prick from Shoreditch moving in with me. Tell me I'm making coffees wrong. I'm not having it. Grown men skateboarding across the border. No, get off that. Get off. Disembark, for God's sake. I pray it doesn't come to that. Man, I could never be in the army. I'd be bloody rubbish in the army. I couldn't even be in the army reserves. Whatever they do. Army reserves, I think they fight against the smaller nations midweek. I think that's what they do. I think the gaffer comes in, he's like, listen, lads, it's a big one. We've got Afghanistan away on Saturday. I'm going to rest you, lads. I'm going to bring some civil servants in for San Marino on Tuesday. I think that's how it works. Not an easy job being the Prime Minister, whatever you think of him, he's not an easy job. I wouldn't want to do it, you know, if you're thinking of nominating me or texting or whatever, I want to take myself out of that now. It's too much responsibility in a job, that is. I could not have a job with that level of responsibility, it would freak me out. I think the maximum responsibility I could deal with in a job would be being the guy who's in charge at the top of a water slide. I think I could do, you know, that guy whose whole day is just this. That's his whole day. I think I could do that. I think that's the maximum I could do. I saw somebody doing that job once, right? Finish his shift and then go down the stairs. What are you doing? It's not how you clock off in that job. But since having my little lad, I've had to be responsible. You know, you've got to be a responsible adult, responsible parent. Any parents in? Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's stressful. It's stressful, not for me, for my little boy. Very stressful being a baby, very stressful. His socks just fall off all day. Just at random, throughout the day, look down, oh, his socks are off again. Imagine what that would do to you as adults if that was happening to you. Your mental health would be in the toilet if you were going through that. I'm amazed, is it more babies' first words when they learn to speak? What the fuck's going on with these socks? Seriously. It's mad being a baby. My little boy's 13 months old. He's got 3 xylophones. Why does anybody need 3 xylophones? There's professional xylophone players with less xylophones than this kid. I said to my wife, why has he got 3 xylophones? She goes, oh, he likes to play one in the bath. Yeah, of course, it was like some kind of fucking eccentric billionaire. What is going on here? We can put 2 of them away. Surely we can put 2 of them away. It's great, I'm loving having him. We tried for a long time to have a baby, me and my wife. We tried for years and years and years. We didn't think it was going to happen for us, and it nearly broke us up. It was a very difficult time, but he's here now, and it's amazing. His birth was incredible. I'll never forget his birth for as long as I live. There's only a few things that I'll remember vividly forever in my life. One is the birth of my little boy. The other thing I'll never forget where I was when I heard the news that Michael Jackson had died. Now, it was Glastonbury Festival, 2018, which is a full 9 years after his death. I don't know how I missed that. That's on me. That's an oversight on my part. I'll accept that. We started trying in 2016. My wife turned to me on the settee one evening and she goes, "Josh, I want to try for a baby." And I said, "I want to try for a baby as well." Together? Yeah, perfect. Let's do it. Result. Because we've been together a long time at that point, and we've been together for years and years, and when you get with somebody really young, you can't really imagine what it'd be like to be with them for years and years. I tell you what I mean, we went out for quite a posh lunch recently at a very fancy restaurant, if I do say so myself. And the young guy that's letting us in, he's about maybe 18, 19, this lad, and we hadn't booked, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This young guy, he looks around the restaurant, he goes, "I can squeeze you in, but we'll need the table back by 5. What the fuck do you think we're going to be speaking about for 4 hours in a Las Iguanas? You do your bit, mate. It's back in 15 minutes. Just get us in there. She hates going for food with me. My wife hates going out for dinner with me. She keeps telling me at the minute, right, that I've got ADHD. She keeps saying to me, "Josh, you've got ADHD. I think you've got ADHD. I think you should get tested. I think you've got ADHD. Yeah, well, I think that's a very arrogant thing to tell somebody they've got if you're not a doctor. Like, let's break that down for a second. Like, you've told me a story. I've lost interest in that story. And your first thought is that I must have some kind of psychological condition. The arrogance of that. Like, can we maybe work on your storytelling skills before we put me on mind-altering medication? Should we try that first? I'll tell you the truth, I'm not a good husband. I'm not a good husband, I'll be honest. I'm not unfaithful or controlling, but I am incompetent, and that can really break a person over the years. I don't know what this says about me, right, but I'm not my wife's emergency contact. It's not a great sign, that, is it? I just make mistakes. That's all it is. I just make mistakes in our marriage. The worst mistake I've made in our marriage, right, was actually during one of the lockdowns. Now, my wife works in a school. Her favourite dinner in the whole world is beef stew in the slow cooker. Very exotic woman. That's her favourite dinner. One day, she gets up early to go to work. She puts this beef stew into the slow cooker. She goes out to work. She texts me at lunchtime saying, "Can't wait for this beef stew. Really looking forward to it." Gets in, 5 o'clock in the evening, rubbing her hands together. "Can't wait for this beef stew. Been looking forward to this all day." What neither of us realised was that at about 12 o'clock that day, I'd accidentally unplugged the slow cooker so that I could plug in Alexa to ask how old Ronan Keating is. She was fucking livid. She's like, "What were you thinking?" I was like, "I don't know, late 30s, early 40s. He's 47. I've got to tell people. That's one of my favourite things to do, actually, is to listen to music. I take my little boy into the kitchen, we put Alexa on, and we dance to a song until he falls asleep. It's magic. He's a 13-month-old white boy from the middle of England. His favourite song, of course, is In the Club by 50 Cent. You know that one? You know that one? Yeah, you're a fiddy crowd, I can tell. Now, did you know, right, that in that song, 50 Cent is singing, "You'll find me in the club, bottle full of bub," as in bubbles, as in champagne. Give me a cheer if you knew that. Yeah. Give me a cheer if you thought it was, "You'll find me in the club, bottle full of bud." Yeah, me too. As if that is something that a millionaire rapper would be bragging about. That's right, ladies. Full bottle of Budweiser over here. You want some scratchings? Pretty get some scratchings, don't worry about that. It's when I try and help. That's when it goes wrong for me, when I try and be a good person, when I try and be helpful. I was getting the train recently, right, and the train was early, I was early, I thought I'd get on the train, right. On the train, there's me and one other guy. Now, this other guy, he's blind, he can't see anything at all, and as I've gone past him, he sort of sensed me, he's gone, oh, excuse me, mate, can you show me where the toilet is? I don't know where to go. I'm like, yeah, of course. So he puts his hand on my shoulder, I walk him down to the toilet. It's one of those, you know, like the curvy, like bread bin, like blind date toilets. I usher this guy inside. He immediately starts taking down his trousers and pants. Now, this guy's blind, so he doesn't stand up and piss. It's easier for him if he sits down. What he doesn't know is, though, the door hasn't closed behind him, and there's no button on the outside for me to press it for him. What can I do in that situation there? I don't want to say something and make him feel embarrassed. I can't go in and press the button for him, because I'll be stuck in there with him. I don't want to walk off and leave the guy because he won't be able to get back to his seat, so I end up just standing there. People now start getting on the train. Now, bear in mind, they haven't seen the first bit, have they? They don't know that this guy can't see anything. To them, it looks like I've arrived early to watch a guy shit and that he is completely fine with it. Never help anybody. That's my message. Never help anybody. 2016, we start trying for a baby. 2017, we're loving trying for a baby. It's good fun, good stuff at first. You know how it works. It's good stuff. Got a few apps, and at that point, we could never imagine a world where me and my wife aren't together, so we got together very young. I was single for a little bit before I met her, went on a few dates, hated it. I used to get the ick. Heard of this thing, the ick? The ick's when somebody does something, it just makes you feel funny, it puts you off them. Had it once, right? I was out for a meal with a girl one evening. Halfway through the meal, this girl looks me dead in the face. She goes, Josh, I don't find you attractive. I don't like your personality. And I can see no future with you whatsoever. And I was like, ugh. Do you know what I mean? There was something about that, and I was like, no. No, that's a red flag for me, yeah. That's alarm bells when someone says that. I will pick up on that, and I'll be like, whoa. Even my wife, when I first met my wife, she didn't like me at first. Didn't fancy me one little bit. But I ground her down, and now we're married. And people forget you can do that. Like, that is an option, do you know what I mean? Like, if you like somebody and they don't like your back, don't just give up straight away. Like, don't get weird about it. If you find yourself going through the bins, that's too far, she said. But like my generation especially, we're obsessed with this idea of fate, this notion of fate. Like, you hear it all the time, don't you? If it was meant to happen, it'll happen. But come on. We've got more control over our lives than that, surely. Like, if you're in the supermarket shopping with your kid and your kid wanders off, you'd go and look for it, you'll be like, guess it just wasn't meant to be. Just carry on shopping. You get back, your partner's like, where's the kid? Just didn't work out. Yeah. Right person, wrong time. We go again, we move forward. We're a great match, me and my wife. We're like yin and yang. That's what I'd say. If you're going to have a baby with somebody, ideally you want it to be with somebody you're in love with, but also somebody that can bring things to the table that you can't bring. I'm quite a negative person. My wife is a very up, happy person. She does not worry about anything. My wife, she's not anxious. She doesn't worry about anything. She goes to sleep at night straight away. Like, we go to bed, her head hits a pillow, she's gone. And it fucking freaks me out. I'm like, have you got nothing you need to reflect on at all? 10 out of 10 today for you, was it? 100%. Okay, you get your head down. Yeah, no problem. No, you get some rest. I'll stay up worrying about the cost of living alone. Don't worry, you get your head down. Do not worry about that. She doesn't worry about the cost of living, doesn't worry about anything like that. This is a fact, right, that sums her up, right? So since the cost of living's come in, I've stopped using the dishwasher so much, stopped putting the tumble dryer in all the time. She has started leaving the radio on for the dog when we go out in case he gets lonely. That's lovely, isn't it? That's a lovely thing, but it's costing a fucking fortune. I wouldn't mind, but he started texting in, entering competitions, an absolute joke. He's a good dog, my dog. He was our baby before we could have a baby. Our dog, he's a great dog. He's a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. Yeah, don't judge. I walk with my shirt on. But no trousers, just how I do it. He's a wicked dog, man. He's scared of the Hoover, though, bless him. My dog's scared of the Hoover. Like, every time I get the Hoover out, my dog panics, but I suppose it's understandable, really. Like, imagine it from his point of view. Like, to us as humans, we know it's a Hoover, don't we, of course, but to him, it's just a noisy robot that keeps attacking his owner's dick. So... So... Yeah, it's a Henry. I like the eye contact. It's powerful, I'll tell you that. Bagless, both of us now, actually. We're yin and yang. She's an up person, I'm a down person. I've only recently started taking responsibility for my happiness. That's something I've learned. You can take responsibility for your happiness. Never done it before, never really taken responsibility for that kind of thing. My agent said to me, actually, she said, the only person who can stop Josh Pugh at the minute is Josh Pugh. And my first thought was, oh, great, there's another comedian out there called Josh Pugh. It's fucking typical, that is. But I thought, if I'm going to have a kid, if I'm going to bring a child into the world, I need to take responsibility for my happiness. I want to be a happy, up, positive person, because I'm not always, and sometimes I get quite down, and sometimes I get a lot of intrusive thoughts. So I decided to go to the doctor about this and tell the doctor about it. Now, I don't go to the doctors very often, so when I do, I just give him everything that's wrong with me, and in no particular order at all. I'm just like, help me, right? And I go in, I'm just really honest. I go, doctor, me and my wife went to Whitby on holiday recently, and I don't know if you know Whitby, but there's very high cliffs in Whitby, and the whole time I was there, I kept getting intrusive thoughts to jump off the cliff, jump off the cliff, jump off the cliff. Then one night, doctor, me and my wife were walking along the pier, and I see an old couple kind of leaning up the pier, eating fish and chips, and I very vividly imagine clotheslining the old couple off that pier, and I'm clearly seeing them in my mind falling and smashing against the rocks, and their elderly, blooded, frail bodies in the fish and the chips just washing into the ocean. And do you think this is athlete's foot? It's a bit red on the side there, I don't know if you could see that. And he talks me through it, and he says, look, the best thing for me to try would be CBT. Heard of this? Cognitive Behavioural Therapy. Now, when I do CBT, it's all on the phone, right? So week one, the guy phones me up, his name's Gareth. Week one, he phones me up, he goes, Josh, the thing to remember with CBT is, I am not the therapist. You are the therapist. And I was like, OK, Gareth, well, what seems to be the problem? He's like, no, that's not what I mean. I was like, mate, if you're not going to open up, this is never going to work, is it? Leave your ego at the door and let's get you sorted, because you're struggling, mate, ain't you? You're struggling. Now, you get 12 free sessions on the NHS of CBT. Week 2, Gareth finds out that I do stand-up comedy. Weeks 2 to 12 is Gareth asking me about stand-up comedy. Specifically, tell me how much he loves a comedian, Russell Kane. Every week he's going on, oh, we love Russell Kane, Josh, in our house, we think he's brilliant, he's absolutely fine. Look, I'm not even headlining my own therapy session here. Every week he's going on, and the worst thing is, he's working from home, he's bringing his wife into it. He's like, oh, we love Russell Kane, Josh, we think he's brilliant, he's absolutely fantastic. Have you ever met Russell Kane? I was like, yeah, I've met Russell Kane, nice guy. He's a nice guy, love, apparently, Russell. We knew he would be, Josh, he comes across lovely on that TV. I tell you what, we went to see him last year. Where was it? Was it De Montfort, love, in Leicester? No, it's the year before. I tell you what a show that lad puts on, Josh. Unbelievable. We actually love what he does. We think he's fantastic. We love what he does. What kind of stuff do you do? And I was like, well, I just kind of do like semi-surreal, rambly stories that just sort of tail off at the end. Yeah, not for us that love, is it? No, we'll leave that actually, Josh. But it was good, Gareth, I tell you what, good at his job, very good at his job. Taught me a lot, taught me about these intrusive thoughts, taught me that we all get them. We all get these bad thoughts. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean you're going to act on them, but we all get them. This is one I get. I don't know if you can relate to this. You know when something really bad's happened in your family, maybe your granddad's been taken to hospital, and it's really upsetting and it's really stressful, whatever plans you had for that day are up in the air, it's a very overwhelming day, right? At some point, during all that, I will get this thought. We might get to have a takeaway tonight. I'm not proud of it, but it comes. And I tell you what, it comes too early as well. I've had it before, he's been put in the back of the ambulance. I'm like, we ain't had a Chinese for ages, have we? Get the menus out the drawer. Yeah, mine, how you go. All the best. Text when you get there. He's a good guy, my granddad. He's a good dad. I think that's what I want to do. I want to take a bit of the best bits of the male role models from my life, add my own flavour, and that's how I'll be a dad to my little boy. My granddad, he's a great dad to my mum, great granddad to me. He's like me, he's a people pleaser. I've said that about myself for years, I'm a people pleaser. Quite a cocky thing to say about yourself, actually, when you think about it, isn't it? I'm a people pleaser. I just can't help but bring joy to everybody. That's my curse. But he is. He says that he told me he's got one wish for his funeral. His only request for his funeral, he wants a song My Way to be played at his funeral. I was like, I don't think Limp Bizkit's the right vibe, but I'll go with it. He's like, no, I want the song Frank Sinatra, My Way. I'm like, OK, Grandad, you want the song My Way by Frank Sinatra to be played at your funeral? Yeah. The song My Way, about doing the things you want to do when you want to do it in spite of all opposition, sticking to your guns, doing the things you want to do when you want to do it, that song My Way. He's like, yeah. I was like, Grandad, with the greatest of respect, you worked for the council for 45 years. Nan chooses all of your outfits, all of your meals, everything you watch on TV. What is it you think you've done your way, exactly? With the greatest of respect. He's like, no, I just want it played as the curtain goes round the coffin. I was like, I thought you was having a burial. Yeah, but your mum thinks we're better off with the cremation. That's what I'm talking about. I've got a stepdad as well. Not easy being a stepdad. Not as fun as the pornos make it look. I tell you that, it's difficult. It's not all casting couches and fake taxis. I tell you that, it's a graft. When he first kind of moved in with us, my stepdad, he gave me and my sister this talk. He said, listen, kids, I'm not here to replace your real dad. And we were like, well, what the fuck are you here for then? You just moved in with a random family. We need school shoes, pal. Get your hand in your pocket. You've got a job on here. But he was great. I take a bit of what my stepdad did, and I've got a phrase. My stepdad used to have this phrase that he'd say, whenever I'd done something wrong, I don't know if your parents ever used this on you, but whenever I did anything wrong as a kid, he'd always say, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Get that one? I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. And I would think, good. What a relief that is. I would take disappointment over anger any day of the week. No one's ever killed anybody in a fit of disappointment, have they? If I said to you guys, as an audience, I've got 2 pit bulls backstage. One of them's angry. The other one's disappointed. I'll give at least one into the town hall. Which one do you want? Disappointed one. He's a good boy. We'll cheer him up. But what I'll add to the mix, so I take all those things from the male role models of my life. The other thing that I'll add, which maybe other men in my family don't do, I'm very good at talking about my feelings. I'm quite open about my feelings. My dad won't do it. My dad doesn't do that. What my dad does with his emotions, I don't know if anyone else's parents or dad or uncles do this, but what he'll do, he'll take all his anxieties, all his worries, all his concerns about the world and the future, and he'll just consolidate all of those as anger, which he'll then channel towards one celebrity that he's chosen to hate for seemingly no reason whatsoever, and every time that celebrity comes on the TV, he just fucking lets them have it. Stephen Mulhern, in my dad's case. Poor bloke's done absolutely nothing wrong. Every time he comes on the TV, oh, this prick again, he's everywhere, he is. He's haunting me. But that's what he'll do. He'll displace. He won't talk about it. He'll displace. I get back from school one day, right? My dad's in the garden, topless, bonfire, just burning stuff. Just burning his own possessions. My mum goes, oh, your dad's not communicating. I'm like, he's fucking telling you something, isn't he? Read between the lines, things are on fire. I think he's having a bad time. He spoke about his feelings to me once, my dad. Opened up to me once. Worst day of my life, wish I hadn't have asked. They keep me in for a reason, these blokes. I can tell he was a bit off, right? And I go, are you okay, Dad? He goes, no, not really, son, no. I'm like, oh, what's the matter? He goes, we had you and your sister too young. Okay, here we go. Here we go. He was like, yeah. We had you and your sister too young. It meant I had to work every hour God sent to put food on the table. That meant that me and your mum spent less and less time together, more time apart, and ultimately that led to the breakdown of our marriage and divorce and huge financial upheaval and the stress of that. And that's not to mention the psychological effects it'll have on you and your sister probably into late adulthood. And I've just got so many regrets. I was like, oh. I was like, ooh. That Stephen Mulhern's a bit of a dickhead, Dad, isn't he? Yeah, it is, to be fair. I don't support small businesses. Nah, fuck 'em, man. Just because you're small, you're not automatically the good guy, are you? No, I want to start supporting small businesses, but it's a two-way street, right? I will start supporting small businesses when small businesses stop judging me for popping in for a shit without buying anything. You want to join the big leagues? That's what you've got to do, right? I'm out and about, I'll get cut short, I can go into an Asda, a Tesco, a Starbucks. They don't say anything to me, they lead me to it, it's in their business plan. These small businesses, very uppity, very judgy. Oh, you shouldn't really be doing that. You shouldn't be in there. We're just a family-run independent solicitors. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. I've got rights. Let me in, all right? ...2018, get a few more apps. We're still trying for this baby. 2018, we get a few more apps, start taking some supplements, start looking into diet, that kind of thing. 2019, the same. Still trying for a baby, still no baby. 2020, no baby is coming. But what is coming is a nationwide lockdown. And as a comedian, I lost my work overnight, lost all my income in a heartbeat. But I knew that I'd be okay, right? Because I'm one of these lads who does, like, mad shit for money. Do you know what I mean? There's always one lad in every group out there who does mad shit for money. That's me in my group. My mate was like, Josh, I dare you to work in a warehouse full time. I just did it, do you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck, that's me, proper lad Bible shit, do you know what I mean? That's just... That's what I did. I got a job in a warehouse, needed the job, needed the money, and I loved it at first. So where I live is right in the middle of the country, big Royal Mail depot, and I got a job there, and I loved it at first. Like day one in a new job, that's one of my favourite days ever, that is, day one in a new job. My advice, right, if you're starting a new job, day one, have a question ready. Because you're going to say it there, day one, if you've got any questions, have a question ready to go. My question always, day one, what's the whistleblowing policy? Just get them on the back foot, you know. New guy's serious here, you're not messing about, all right? Now, the job was, right, it's a big Royal Mail depot, massive place right in the middle of the country. So I'm stood there every day. So my job is this, right? I just stand there every day. Around me, I've got cages with postcodes on for various towns and cities around the UK. In front of me here, I've got a big vat of mail. I've got letters, parcels, packages. My job is to read the postcode on the package, put it into the corresponding cage with the postcode on, it's put on the back of a lorry, people get their post. It's worked for years. Now, something you need to know about me is I don't see well. I can't see well. I've had a condition since I was a kid. I'm legally blind. Not doing it illegally. So it's all above board, don't worry. And it affects me in lots of different ways. I can't really see faces, I can't see distances. My eyes also look different because of it. If you've noticed, that's totally fine. But that can get you into situations, right? I was going into a nightclub once on Broad Street years ago, and I get to the front of the nightclub, and the bouncer looks me in the face, and he goes, "Oh, you can't come in, mate. You've had too much to drink." I was like, no, it's not that, mate. What it is, I've got this condition, I've had it since I was a kid, it affects my sight and also my eyes kind of look this way because of that. And also, I've never been here before, so if I was a bit ponderous getting to the door, that's probably why. And actually, lots of people have got conditions and things that aren't immediately apparent, and maybe you should educate yourself around that a little bit. And he goes, "Yeah, that's a wicked speech, mate, but I've just watched you get your cock out to that taxi." You ain't coming in. Now, crucially, what you need to know about my eye condition is, I cannot read postcodes. So for 8 hours a day during 2020, I'm stood at the Royal Mail, headphones in, and I'm just fucking... just chucking these letters where I fancy chucking them. And because I couldn't see the things and I wasn't reading them, I ended up doing the job really quickly to the point of getting picked out as like, this guy wants it. He's setting a standard. Now, I could see S in front of me. Now, I know S is Sheffield. I thought Sheffield's quite big, isn't it? Send some stuff to Sheffield. Next to Sheffield is SA, that's Swansea. I know the DVLA's in Swansea, so anything that felt like a driving licence, Swansea. Anything else, just wherever I fancied chucking it. I worked there when Captain Tom had his 100th birthday. A lot of gifts and cards came through the depot for Captain Tom that week. After Friday's shift, I went home and Googled, does Captain Tom live in Sheffield? He doesn't, let me tell you that, I felt bad about that. But I stuck at it, and this is what I bring. So when I say about bringing things to the table, what my wife brings, she's a very happy, upbeat, positive person. What I bring, what Josh Pugh brings, he keeps turning up. I've done this for 9 years, got nowhere until now, kept turning up. And that's what I did at this job, right? I kept turning up. Even when I felt this big because I couldn't do the most menial of tasks, and I felt shit, I kept turning up. Even when other people were starting to suss out that I wasn't doing it properly and were talking about me, I kept turning up. Even when I wasn't rotated on, I kept turning up. Even after management took me to the side one day, it was like, Josh, stop coming here. You're not insured to be on the premises. We're going to get the police involved. I kept turning up. That's what I do. So I was doing that in the daytime. At night time, we're still trying for this baby, still desperate for this baby, and we're trying everything. And by this point, the sex is not good anymore. It's difficult. My wife might remember me telling you that. It's difficult. We tried to mix it up, tried to keep it interesting, tried a sexy talk. Did not do well with that. Long story short, one evening, I called my wife a dirty git. That's not the right vibe, is it? That's something you say to an old man that's pissed himself at a bus stop, not the love of your life. Spanking, tried spanking, it was not good at that either. Too tentative with the spanking, by all accounts. My wife said that I spanked like I was reassuring a nervous racehorse. We shouldn't have done the spanking. I regret the spanking. We shouldn't have done it. We're too deep into the relationship to be spanking each other. My advice, right, you're going to spank each other. Do it in the first 6 months of getting together. Don't let 10 years of resentment build up before you bring that into the equation. I was spanked with a closed fist one evening. Does that sound right to you? Spanked on the jaw and both eye sockets. I don't think that sounds right to me. Joking aside, it was a difficult time. It wasn't happening for us for whatever reason, and for the first time in our relationship, my wife changed. She won't mind me telling you that. She kind of became quite withdrawn and quite anxious, and she was lying awake at night, kind of worrying about different stuff. Every time we turned on the TV or film, somebody would get pregnant. Every time she looked at her phone, someone would get pregnant, and it really changed her as a person. She became very upset and kind of quite anxious, and, you know, her mental health took a big dip. And I mean, I tried to help her. I'd done CBT, but, you know, she's not a fan of Russell Kane, by all accounts. Too flamboyant for her taste, her words, and I try and help. And we actually kind of had problems within our marriage then. She kind of moved home, she found it very difficult. I kind of, you know, it was very difficult. And we decided to give it one proper go. We'd kind of been to the doctors a few years previously about this, but we decided to go back to the doctors. And we go back, and I just fucking give him everything. I go, Doc, me and my wife here, we've been trying for a baby for 5 years. We're trying everything. We're doing spanking. We're doing do-it-all. We're trying everything. We're trying, you know, it's not happening for us. We don't drink, we don't smoke, and for whatever reason, it's not happening. It's taking a big toll on my wife here, and her mental health is really... And do you think this is impetigo? I've read online like I should be using my own towels. Do you think I should just get new towels fresh, or should I just wash the ones I've got? And he chats us through it. And he says the best thing for us to do would be IVF. Now, we weren't expecting that. We thought that might be the case down the line. We weren't expecting to go straight to that. And we chat about it, and we go, yeah, we'll do it, Doc. We'd like to go for the IVF. He goes, amazing. He goes, there's a bit of a waiting list, but when you get to the top, we'll send your appointment through the post. I was like, could we get that as an email? I don't know what is going on with our post at the minute. We're going to get a text, or... that'd work for us, a text, I think. And we wait, and eventually the appointment comes through. Now, I don't know what you know about IVF, but it's very heavily weighted on the woman's side, as these things tend to be. It's a lot of injections, morning and night injections. There's suppositories up the bum, up their vagina. They basically put themselves into a menopausal state. Then the next step is very invasive, very intrusive for the woman. A lot of internal examinations, internal scans, very invasive. Honestly, I don't know how women put themselves through it, genuinely. I stayed in the car once during a hand car wash, and I felt vulnerable and exposed. How these women are going through that, I do not know. I mean, to be fair, that's not being done by 6 Romanian dudes, but it's still, I imagine it's still intense, I imagine. So it's very, very heavily weighted on the woman's side, but it did mean that I had to masturbate at a hospital during a global pandemic, which feels wrong, do you know what I mean? It feels like you should not be doing that. Every time you turn on the news, they're like, stay away from the hospitals, we're at capacity. I'm there in reception like, woo. And it kept getting put back because of the virus. Eventually we get called in, and it's one of these things that I'll never forget. A few things I'll never forget, this is one of them. We go in 2:30 on a Tuesday afternoon, right? So we go in at 2:30, by 3 p.m, my semen must be with her egg for the scientists to do their thing. So it's 2:30 now, we go in, my wife gets taken off. The nurse comes into reception, she's like, firstly, sir, there's no cigars in here. Secondly, come this way, and she takes me down and she puts me in a room and she explains. She says, Mr. Pugh, it's 2:30 now. By 3 p.m, you must have produced a sample. If not, there's a knock on the door and it's all over. It's like a really weird escape room. By the way, that'll work at an actual escape room as well. Like, if you're struggling, you can't get the puzzles, you start doing that, someone just comes to get you, like, oh, okay, yeah, out you come, yeah, very good, well done. Clever bollocks, get out of here. So I'm in there. I'm totally naked. I don't know if that's right. I don't know what other people do. I'm just going over it in my head. 2:30 now. Got to do this by 3 p.m. 2:30 now. Got to do this by 3 p.m. And I start overthinking it massively. And then the intrusive thoughts start up again. I'm like, oh, God, why have I got to even do this? Why is my wife up there under anaesthetic? Why am I in here having to do this? Other people, they just, on a one-night stand, they just catch straight away. Why are we having to go through this? Why is she up there? And I thought, just come on. Get yourself together here. There's a global pandemic on right now. Out of everybody in this hospital right now, in this second, you have got the best deal. Oh, yeah. By a mile, you've got the best deal. There could be somebody in the room next door getting the news that they've got a week to live. And here you are, probably not in the room next door. I imagine that's a different bit of the hospital, to be honest. Quite insensitive to be giving that kind of news there, actually. Sir, your results are not good. We suggest you get your affairs in order. I'm so sorry. I don't know what that noise is, but try and just ignore it. It is getting louder, yeah. It's clap for carers. It's 8 o'clock. Just ignore that. Got all this stuff going on. 2:30 now. By 3 p.m, I must do it. 2:30 now by 3 p.m. And I do it. I did it. Yeah. But I didn't do it for me. I didn't do it for me. I did it for the NHS. I rubbed one out that afternoon for every Amazon delivery driver, every keyword. I did it for Captain Tom that afternoon. I come out, look at my watch, 2:32, thank God. Skin of my teeth. So it gets mixed, it goes, it blasticizes, that's a term. And the week later, we go back, it gets put back in, my wife will say, very, very invasive. And we just get sent home then, and we just have to wait. We couldn't go anywhere because of the lockdown and the restrictions and COVID. We couldn't go anywhere. And something kind of happened in that week. We kind of came together again. The yin and the yang kind of evened itself out. And she was better than she's ever been. I was better than I've ever been. I was responsible for the first time in my life. I felt like I could do this. I felt like I'd be, kind of... I was her emergency contact for the first time ever on everything. For the first time, it really brought us together. And we kind of made the decision that if this works, amazing. We've been very lucky. And if not, we'll keep turning up. And we'll keep trying and we'll keep being positive. And ultimately, if it doesn't work and we can't do it, then we're very lucky. We've we've got a lot. Now, firstly, thank you so much for coming. You've been a brilliant audience. Secondly, thank you for sharing my videos online. It's been a big part of what's helped me out. And I want to finish the show on a video, but it's not a video that I've made, actually. It's actually a video that what my wife has made, and it's about her IVF journey. Now, this isn't typical of everyone's IVF journey. It's her specific one. And so I think that's the only real way to finish the show. Thank you so much for coming. If you could dim the lights and have the video on. Thank you. So much for coming. Thank you. See you next time. Cheers.
Thank you very much.